I still remember the exact moment I realized my nightly leg cramps were more than just an annoyance. It was a humid July evening in Austin, Texas, and I was lying awake in bed, my calf muscles seizing up so painfully that I jolted upright, gasping. For years, I'd prided myself on staying active cycling at Lady Bird Lake, playing pickup basketball at the YMCA, but lately, every morning started with that familiar ache. And it wasn't just the cramps that alarmed me. My energy had plummeted, my mind felt clouded, and I found myself desperately gulping coffee just to drag through the afternoon. That night, between spasms, I opened my laptop and dove into research. I discovered one simple truth. As we hit our late 40s and beyond, our bodies lose the natural ability to balance electrolytes and stay hydrated. We're burning through vital minerals faster, and plain water often just washes right through. That realization hit me harder than any muscle spasm. I had been treating my body like a high-performance engine running on fumes expecting peak output without proper fuel. So I decided to start my own experiment, beginning with the oldest hack in the hydration playbook. I call it the lemon mineral lift. Here's how I mixed my first replenishing glass. 1 cup of cool filtered water straight from my Brita pitcher. Juice of half a medium lemon, about 1½ tablespoons. A generous pinch, roughly 1/8 teaspoon, of high-quality pink Himalayan salt, packed with trace minerals, unlike stripped-down table salt. Optional. A fresh mint leaf for a refreshing twist. I squeezed the lemon until I heard the last drop hit the bottom, then stirred in the salt until it dissolved completely. When I took that first sip, it was like a burst of sunshine, tart yet soothing, with just the right hint of saltiness. It reminded me of lazy summer afternoons on my grandma's porch, but beneath the nostalgia was a surge of invigoration. Within 15 minutes, I noticed a subtle but real change. My mouth felt less parched, my brain buzzed with clarity, and I didn't reach for another coffee all morning. Over the next few days, I replaced my usual brew with this lemon salt tonic, and the nightly cramps began to fade. I slept longer and woke up feeling genuinely rested instead of stiff and sore. This trick isn't magic, it's science made simple. The citric acid in lemon enhances mineral absorption, while the trace minerals in the salt support muscle function and hydration. Think of it as a natural DIY sports drink. No artificial colors, sugars, or mystery chemicals. But here's the kicker. Pouring plain water into a leaky bucket won't fill it. You need electrolytes to plug the holes and keep hydration levels from slipping away. That's why the lemon mineral lift is the perfect first step. It primes your system, strengthens your muscles, and lays the groundwork for deeper hydration. In the next section, I'll show you my go-to upgrade when I needed extra recovery after long rides or cross-country flights. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. After a week of my lemon mineral lift routine, I found myself gearing up for a charity half-marathon through downtown Chicago. I'd trained hard, but as any endurance athlete knows, long hours on the road can deplete more than just your stamina. The night before the race, my roommate, Jenna, reminded me of the second hack I'd stumbled upon during those sleepless, cramp-filled nights. A simple electrolyte powder blend that's become my secret weapon for serious hydration. The next morning, in our tiny Springfield Avenue kitchen, I measured out a single scoop of unflavored, vegan electrolyte powder, about 12 grams, into an empty 20-ounce Nalgene bottle. This powder was pure sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, with no added sugars or artificial ingredients. I dropped in a thin slice of lemon for flavor, topped it off with cold tap water, and shook vigorously until the powder dissolved completely. The result looked almost like plain water, but I knew better. This was liquid resilience. By mile 3, I could feel the difference. Runners around me wiped sweat from their foreheads and clenched their jaws against fatigue, but I felt a steady hum of energy pulsating through my muscles. My breathing stayed calm, and my pace felt easier. It wasn't until mile 9, when a sudden gust of wind whipped off Lake Michigan that I realized how protected I was against the elements. Other participants slowed down, staggering against the cold wind, while I cruised on, buoyed by that invisible shield of balanced electrolytes. Crossing the finish line, I felt a rush not just of endorphins but of genuine surprise. I'd beaten my personal best by almost 4 minutes. It wasn't a fluke. Later, at the post-race celebration in Millennial Park, I recounted how I'd sidestepped the usual post-run crash. No muscle tremors, no dizzy spells, no pounding headache, just that satisfying glow of having pushed my limits and come out stronger. That evening, sipping a casually mixed lemon salt tonic before bed, I reflected on how this electrolyte powder had elevated my recovery. The first 2 sips replenished what I'd sweated out, and by morning, my quads felt firm instead of fatigued. I slept deeply, dreaming of the next race, confident that I had the tools to sustain my active lifestyle well into my 50s and beyond. In real-life terms, this means you don't have to chase fancy sports drinks loaded with sugar and dyes. A clean, targeted electrolyte blend can do wonders for your performance and long-term health. And when you combine that with the lemon mineral lift routine from part 1, you're tapping into a 2-step hydration system that helps you feel energized, alert, and ready for anything, whether that's a marathon, a cross-country flight, or simply tackling your day without reaching for endless cups of coffee. In the next segment, I'll share the ultimate natural powerhouse that has helped me battle stubborn high blood pressure and restless nights. Believe me, once you try this, plain water will feel like a thing of the past. I'll never forget the morning I landed in New York City for a week of back-to-back client meetings. My heart was racing not from excitement, but from stress and jet lag. I tossed and turned all night in my Midtown hotel, waking up to pounding headaches and swollen ankles. And to make matters worse, my blood pressure cuff at the health club beeped an alarming 142/88. I realized plain water and my trusty electrolyte powder weren't enough to calm the storm in my system. That's when I turned to what I call the Tropical Coconut Recharge. It's powered by freeze-dried coconut water powder, the closest thing you'll get to sipping straight from the palm trees of Hawaii, without the added sugars you find in commercial sports drinks. Here's how I made my rescue potion in my hotel room. I emptied 1 packet, about 8 grams, of pure coconut water powder into my 16-ounce Contigo travel mug. I added 8 ounces of room-temperature filtered water from the in-room pitcher. Steer clear of tap if you can. I stirred until every speck of powder dissolved, then topped it off with a few ice cubes from the kitchenette. The taste hit like a gentle breeze, subtly sweet, faintly nutty, with just enough hint of tropical sunshine to lift my mood. But the real magic was in the mineral profile, high in potassium, moderate in magnesium, and naturally low in sodium. Within 45 minutes, I felt my heart rate settle into a comfortable rhythm. I checked that same cuff later and watched the digits drop to 128/76, right in the optimal range. What surprised me most wasn't just the blood pressure drop. It was how this simple drink also soothed my racing mind. By mid-afternoon, the usual mid-trip caffeine slump never came. Instead, I had a calm focus that carried me through 3 back-to-back presentations at the conference center. My voice stayed steady, my energy stayed balanced, and I didn't need to chase jitters with another latte. That night, I prepared another tropical coconut recharge before bed this time, adding a pinch, 1/16 teaspoon, of powdered magnesium citrate to deepen the relaxation. As I sipped it next to the window overlooking Times Square, I felt my muscles uncoil and my thoughts drift into a peaceful groove. I slept for 7 solid hours, the best sleep I'd gotten in weeks, and woke up without that groggy hangover feeling. In practical terms, this means that if you're battling stubborn high blood pressure, chronic stress, or restless nights, a clean source of coconut-derived electrolytes can be a game changer. It's not just about hydration. It's about providing your body with the exact minerals it needs to regulate blood pressure, support nerve function, and promote restful sleep. Life lesson: Don't settle for one-size-fits-all hydration. Pay attention to how your body responds to different mineral balances. The right blend can transform not only your performance during high-pressure days, but also the quality of your recovery at night. In the next section, I'll introduce you to a fourth and final enhancer, something that's rocked my strength training and cognitive clarity. A low-dose creatine regimen that taps into your cellular water stores and supercharges mental focus. Stay with me, because this is the secret weapon I wish I'd discovered in my 20s. I'll never forget the morning I decided to give low-dose creatine a shot. It was a crisp fall day in Denver, Colorado, and I'd just wrapped up a tough session of box jumps and kettlebell swings at my CrossFit gym. I felt strong, but mentally foggy. My muscles burned, yet my mind felt sluggish. That's when my coach Marcus pulled me aside and said, "You've got the grit, but you might be running on empty at the cellular level." He handed me a small scoop of micronized creatine monohydrate and suggested I try 2 grams mixed in my post-workout recovery drink. I was skeptical at first. Didn't creatine just bulk up bodybuilders? But Marcus explained that even modest doses can pull water into muscle cells, enhancing both physical power and cognitive clarity. That afternoon, back in my kitchen overlooking the Rockies, I stirred 2 grams into 8 ounces of my tropical coconut recharge, creating what I started calling the cellular charge. By the next morning, I sensed subtle shifts. My usual stiffness upon waking was replaced by a lightness in my quads, and my thoughts felt sharper during my early bird check-in call with clients across 3 time zones. Over the next week, I kept the routine: 2 grams of creatine and 8 ounces of coconut electrolyte mix after each workout, plus before any mentally demanding work session. Whether I was drafting proposals or leading virtual workshops, I noticed my concentration span had stretched longer, and I was dodging the midday slump that used to send me scrambling for sugary snacks. One memorable afternoon, I had to negotiate a contract renewal with a notoriously tough client. In the past, I'd felt my heart race and my throat tighten halfway through the conversation. But that day I felt calm, articulate, and present. I closed the deal 20 minutes ahead of schedule, and when we ended the call, the client even complimented my crystal-clear communication. I couldn't help but smile. This was the power of optimized cellular hydration and energy at work. At the gym, my lifts crept higher. A 5-pound jump on my deadlift PR, a smoother pull-up rep, and noticeably less post-session soreness. I attributed this to creatine's ability to regenerate adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the body's energy currency, faster and more efficiently. Plus, the extra water in each muscle cell kept the cellular machinery happily lubricated. Life lesson: don't underestimate the small tweaks. A low-dose creatine regimen isn't about chasing massive gains. It's about fine-tuning your body's recovery and your brain's performance day in, day out. When you pair it with my lemon mineral lift, the targeted electrolyte powder, and the tropical coconut recharge, you've built a 4-step hydration and recovery system. It strengthens, soothes, and sharpens you. No sugar crashes, no chemical additives, just science you can taste and feel. In the final section, I'll wrap up these 4 hydration enhancers with an overarching strategy you can apply to any routine. We'll look at timing, stacking, and lifestyle tips that make sure these protocols stick. You're almost at the finish line. Stay with me for part 5, where we tie everything together, and I share a real-world action plan you can start using tonight. Over the past 4 sections, you've seen how each targeted formula, the lemon mineral lift, the clean electrolyte powder, the tropical coconut recharge, and the low-dose creatine cellular charge, works on its own. Now let's weave them together into a seamless daily ritual that maximizes your hydration, recovery, and mental edge. First thing in the morning, swap out that standard cup of coffee for a glass of the lemon mineral lift. Aim to drink it within 20 minutes of waking. This jumpstarts mineral absorption, primes your kidneys to retain fluid, and gives you a gentle mood lift from the bright citrus flavor. It's not about ditching caffeine forever, but rather front-loading your day with real nutrients so that if you do reach for coffee later, it's a treat, not a necessity. Mid-morning, especially on busy days when meetings stack up, grab your 12-gram scoop of unflavored electrolyte powder mixed in a 20-ounce bottle of water. Keep it at your desk or in your bag. This serves as a stabilizer against stress-induced dehydration and adrenal drain. Sip steadily rather than gulping, listening to your body's subtle thirst cues instead of forcing artificial energy boosts. If you're training, whether it's weightlifting, running, or a weekend basketball pickup, reserve your tropical coconut recharge for immediately post-workout. In those crucial 30 to 60-minute anabolic window, the high potassium and natural magnesium pull sodium from your cells, lowering blood pressure and soothing muscles. Adding a pinch of magnesium before bed on training days doubles as a mild relaxer, improving sleep quality without resorting to tranquilizers. On non-training days or during mentally demanding stretches like back-to-back client calls, blend 2 grams of creatine into your coconut electrolyte mix mid-afternoon. This cellular charge keeps your neurons firing cleanly and reduces the midday slump. You'll notice fewer sugar cravings and a steadier mood because creatine enhances ATP turnover in both muscle and brain cells. As for lifestyle tips, consistency is key. Set reminders on your phone or integrate these drinks into existing habits. Brush your teeth, then reach for lemon mineral lift. Finish lunch and immediately blend your electrolyte powder. After your final workout or before your last big Zoom call, mix the coconut creatine combo. When these habits slot into your existing routine, they become effortless. Timing matters too. If you're prone to late-day fatigue, shift your creatine mix earlier around 2 p.m. so its cognitive benefits kick in before your 4 p.m. slump. If high blood pressure runs in your family, use the coconut recharge twice daily, morning and evening, while omitting the added salt in your lemon tonic to keep your sodium intake moderate. Finally, track your progress. Keep a simple log: date, time, drink, and notes on energy levels, sleep quality, and mood. Within 2 weeks, you'll see patterns. Perhaps the lemon mineral lift helps you ditch 1 or 2 coffees, or the electrolyte powder prevents the usual 3 p.m. brain fog. Adjust dosages or timings based on your data, and you'll optimize this 4-step system uniquely for your body. Action plan for tonight. Prepare a batch of lemon mineral lift for tomorrow morning. Measure out 2 servings of electrolyte powder into small containers for easy access. Stock up on coconut water powder and creatine, so nothing catches you off guard. Set calendar alerts for each drink window. Start your log tonight. Note how you feel after each sip. By tomorrow, you'll already be on your way to better sleep, steadier energy, and fewer muscle spasms. Science is powerful, but its real magic happens when you make small, consistent changes over time. You're now holding the blueprint. Go ahead, mix that first glass, take a mindful sip, and feel the difference.